Should you watch the movie Ash in theaters? The short answer is I really want you to because I really liked it and I think it's important to highlight smaller, non-blockbuster films, but genuinely, I don't know if this is a movie for everyone. Really quickly, if you're into sci-fi or horror that delivers really eerie visuals, intense gore, and a really cool ending, then yeah, I definitely think this movie is worth a watch. But if you're looking for a polished movie with a great script, great writing, and performances, then this might not be it for you and you should set your expectations now. I'm René and I like to talk about movies, not deep dive, not overanalyze, just surface level thoughts for the everyday movie fan. Ash is a sci-fi horror film directed by Flying Lotus and it stars Eiza Gonzales and Aaron Paul. Basically, the main character wakes up injured on a derelict space station on a really weird and creepy planet. Oh, and her entire crew has been violently unalived and she has no recollection or memories of what happened or why. This movie was made on a $10 million budget, which sounds like a lot of money, but in the filmmaking space, that's not a lot. Like on average, most sci-fi movies are made with around $60 million. In comparison, like the movie Alien Romulus, which I really like, was made with around $80 million. And more recently, Mickey 17 was made with like $118 million. Don't fact check me on that though, because I did like a quick Google search, so I could be wrong. But what I'm trying to say is like this movie, Ash, was made with a very small budget. So when you look at Ash and what it pulled off with the amount of like money it had, I mean, it's a pretty impressive movie to see. And it's cool. Just make sure you know that going into this movie, because if you expect it to be like a big blockbuster, you're going to be immediately thrown off and it might turn you off completely. The movie has some really awesome, unsettling, and trippy visuals that kind of just pull you into that like weirdness that the movie lives in. The set design, the props, the world, and especially the spacesuits were all done really well. And the horror elements, while they weren't terrifying, they did do a good job of like adding that like good level of tension in this movie. Honestly, while watching it, it reminded me a lot of like Dead Space and The Thing and Alien and a lot of things in that nature. Speaking of horror, the movie delivers decent jump scares and a really good amount of gore, but most of it comes in like these weird psychedelic flashes instead of letting that suspense and horror build up naturally. It works for this movie, but it's not a traditional horror experience. It's not until the end of the movie that it goes full on with the action and the horror, and honestly, the ending is the best part of this movie. Watching the mystery unravel in real time was really satisfying, and it made sitting through those slower parts really worth it. With that said, it takes some time for that to happen. The acting was okay, like nothing really stood out to me, and I think it's more of a writing issue than a performance issue. While the concept of the movie was really cool, I think it was the writing and the storytelling that held it back from its full potential. Despite this movie only being an hour and a half, which normally I really appreciate, I feel like the first third of the movie was very slow and it just dragged on. I remember thinking to myself in the theater, like, this movie's about to be really boring. And I'm happy to say that it was fixed towards the middle and back end of the movie. The film spends a lot of time trying to set up the mystery, which I feel like was a wasted opportunity for us to get to know the characters better and really develop those stories so we could actually care about what's going on in the story and these characters. I also feel like the story structure in this movie could have been formatted a little bit differently for it to flow more naturally instead of forcing the audience to keep thinking on like, what happened? What's going on? It was a little obvious to me that I was trying to force the audience to overthink as to what was going to happen in this movie. From a filmmaking perspective, some choices just didn't work for me. The lighting inside of this space station was a bit too stylized in my opinion. A lot of the times it felt more like we were inside like a crappy neon lit nightclub instead of an actual livable space station. It's as if some of the scenes were lit with like Govee lights, you know, those like LED color changing lights. Like why is everything so purple? There's also a handful of scenes where there's just a lot of flashing lights. Like I get it, you're in a derelict space station, but nothing was really destroyed. So why is there just a giant flashing light just going on and on the entire time? Like it just didn't make any sense to me. And I felt like it was really distracting and honestly a little bit annoying. The music was really cool, but just like the lighting, a lot of the sound effects were just over the top and overdone just quite a bit. Honestly, a lot of those things kind of took me out of the experience just a bit, but it wasn't such a huge deal at the end of the day. That being said, I did really enjoy the movie Ash for what it was. Sci-fi is typically very difficult and, as I mentioned before, very expensive to make. So for a movie with a $10 million budget, I think it did a good job delivering a unique and eerie experience. Personally, I think it's the kind of film that over time it could pick up a cult following and sometime in the future people will talk talk back about this movie being like, oh my God, that movie was like ahead of its time. I'd love to see what this director could do with a bigger budget. And on top of that, I would love to come back to this world on a bigger scale as well. Look, if you're into sci-fi or horror, I would say give this movie a chance. It's definitely not perfect. Like it's far from it. It is a budget movie, but for what it is, it's a good experience and it's a good time. At the end of the day, this is one of those movies that will start a conversation, like one of those that you leave the theater with your group and everyone is talking about what they liked, what they didn't like, and pointing out all these little things. To me, that is what makes a movie enjoyable, is when you can kind of go back and forth with other people and sharing different opinions on a film. I'm giving Ash a 7.5 out of 10. Again, just keep in mind the type of movie that it is, which again, it is a lower budget film. So just know that going in before you buy your tickets. As much as I want everyone to see this movie, it is not a must watch. And if you skip it, it's totally fine. But if you're looking for something like this, then go ahead and go watch it. It is a fun time. But as always, watch movies, form your own opinion, and I'll see you on the next one.